Good evening, everybody. Welcome to your Thursday evening Facebook Live. My name is Sarah Edwards. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I come to you guys live every Tuesday and Thursday to show you a fun new project. So today's project is so stinking cute. I was so excited when I created it today. I ran into the house to show my husband because I have to show somebody. And he looked at it and he was like, it's very cool, but I'm not 100% sure sheep and pigs are considered herds. So we Googled it, and anything with a hoof is considered a herd from Google. So Google doesn't know everything. So if sheep and pigs are not considered a herd, it's still a super cute card. So I'm super excited to show it to you guys. So hopefully you guys had a good day besides me making this card. I had a crazy day. Literally, I got home at 6:30. I had to drop my grandson off at home and flew out here, got everything ready, and of course my computer needed to do an update, and I was like, oh, come on, please hurry up so I can go live at 7. It finally worked, so I was able to go live. So if you're just logging on, say hi so I know you're here. Good evening, Heather. So good evening, Anna. So today about 2 o'clock, Natalie sends a text message to us, and she says, did you guys forget what today is? And we're like, what is today? She's like, it's our food tasting for the venue for her wedding. Literally, Peyton and I totally spaced it, had no idea it was today at 3. So I was in my pajamas until Natalie texted, and then I had to put normal clothes on and go do food tasting. But my belly is so full, and it was so good. I did ask if we could go back next week just to triple check to make sure we liked it. The guy just laughed. But that was my crazy day. Busy, busy, busy. I'm sure everybody else is as well. So I am going to scoot you over so I can show you guys some fun stuff. Hopefully my catalog is still here. It was just here a second ago, but that's okay. I'm going to grab another one. So in the celebration catalog, we have this fun designer series paper. It's called Day at the Farm. It actually coordinates with On the Farm stamp sets and On the Farm dies. So you can definitely stamp the images and cut them out with the dies, or you can do what I did and cut out of the designer series paper. So as you can see, there's not much left to this because I have used a lot of it, but the dies lay right on top of the designer series paper, and it cuts everything out, and it even cuts out these tiny little flowers. Isn't that the cutest? I actually thought this would be kind of fun to use just this half of the cow and just butt it up next to the edge of your card so it kind of looks like he's falling off, or even the sheep or the pig. I kind of thought that would be fun to do. I haven't played with it yet, but maybe one day. Oh, here's a little cow that I didn't cut out. So you can definitely see how the dies just line up perfectly to cut it out. I did a retreat class on this, and it was super fun. So I wanted to bring that in. And then I wanted something that said, it's your birthday. So I actually texted my upline and I was like, do we have something that says it's your birthday? And literally 2.5 seconds after I sent it, I found it on this piggy's birthday. So those are the 2 stamp sets and the dies that I'm going to be using, and the fun designer series paper. And I can bring in the rest of the designer series paper just so you guys can see it. It's very cute. I love all the little cows and the trees. On the other side, it's just so fun and bright and cheery. I love the little ducks and chickens. And then this back side is kind of like the fencing. I forget the name of the fencing, but it is so fun. Definitely well worth getting it. So that is the designer series paper. I would have showed you this sheet, but I actually used them all. So I don't have any more of those left. So let me scoot that to the side. I just want to make sure we are live on Facebook, which I think we are. Yep, there it is. So let me bring in the card we're going to be making. Perfect. Okay, so here is the card we're going to be doing tonight. So it's Heard It's Your Birthday. So I thought it was so fun and so cute. But then when I went in and showed my husband, he was like, I don't know if, he's like, I get the concept of it, but he wasn't sure if the pigs and sheep were considered a herd, but they are according to Google. So that is what I'm going to show you guys. Good evening, Valerie. Welcome. So I don't use Sahara Sand ink or cardstock very often, but I actually love it when Stampin' Up! Uses, on the back of the Designer Series paper pack, it tells you all the colors that are incorporated in the Designer Series paper. And I love it when they use colors that I don't really gravitate towards very often. And Sahara Sand is definitely one of them. And Soft Suede is another that I don't really use a lot. So I was super excited that I was able to use that on this card. So hopefully we have enough time to make two. If not, we will just make one. Let me scoot all of this out of the way. So I have a piece of our Sahara Sand. It is 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. So I'm just going to take that, give this a good crease. As soon as I can find my bone folder. I forgot to turn my light on, so hopefully that brightens it up a little bit. I have 2 pieces of our basic white, and they measure 4 inches by 5 1/4. One is going to go on the inside, so I'm going to go ahead and do that ahead of time because I always forget. I'm just going to open this up and slide it in. Just make sure it's even on all 4 sides, and that looks good. So I'm going to set that aside and bring in our other piece. We are going to do a tiny bit of stamping on it, but I want to grab a piece of scratch paper so I don't mess up my work surface. It's so handy having that right when I need it. So this is the other piece that is 4 by 5 1/4. I'm just going to bring in the little sheep and my Sahara Sand, and I'm just going to randomly stamp around on this piece just to give it a little bit of dimension. You can have some of the sheep hanging off. You can have just the face showing because we're going to cover up the center so it's not super tragic if the entire sheep is showing. Since this is the bottom, I'm going to try to just keep the sheep going the same direction. There we go. That looks pretty good. Just going to randomly stamp, nothing specific. And then I have a piece of soft suede, and this is 4 1/4, actually 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And my Designer Series paper is 3 inches by 4 inches. So it's going to be a perfect layer. Good evening, Stephanie. Welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. So I'm going to layer these two together. There we go. And I am going to go ahead and glue this to my card front before I glue it to the card base. So I'm just going to slide this in the center so you can kind of see that you're not going to see all the sheep, but you kind of get the hint of what it is. I did pre-cut these. I should have brought the dies over. Actually, I know exactly where they're at. They're sitting right where I left them because I didn't put them away. So let me grab them. They are called Alphabet a la Mode. So these are the new dies, the letter dies that they have. And I love that they give you a couple of the same letters. So that really helps when you're having multiple, you need multiple letters. I didn't on this one, but it is convenient. So I'm just going to lay these down, make sure I spell it correctly. And usually I would put the adhesive sheets on the back of it, but I ran out of time. So I am just going to very gently put a tiny bit with the softest squeeze and touch as I can. And wouldn't you know there's like a booger on the end of it that's not going to let me do that. Let's pull that booger off. There we go. Now, I would recommend doing the adhesive sheets for this and not using the glue, because once you get too much, it's not going to come off and your whole card is going to be sticky. So you can literally see I'm barely putting any on. This is probably the most time consuming, and I should have just used the adhesive sheets. Okay, so there's that. Hopefully that's not too much. I'm just going to come in, set that there. It dries pretty quickly. Just gentle squeeze. You don't want to get too much. There's that. Do a little bit. Sorry, it's hard to talk and concentrate at the same time. And I'm not being super picky on making sure it's lined up perfect. Just eyeballing it. I honestly don't think anyone's going to say, oh, it's not quite even. And I'm going a little bit hard on that glue, and I don't mean to. There we go. And I don't think any squeezed through, so that's perfect. So there is the herd. I have the little cow, the pig, and the little sheep, and I did cut out, there's lots of different colors of these. So I'm just going to use those 3 and save those if we have time to do the next card. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp. Actually, I might just punch it out first. I'm going to punch out an oval. I know if you cut your design, or if you cut your cardstock at a 1 inch, it'll slide right in and it'll be a perfect cut and you won't get any of the top. But I didn't cut it at 1 inch. I just grabbed scrap. So I'm going to grab my Sahara Sand ink again. Stamp It's Your Birthday. There we go. And I do want a piece of Sahara Sand to back it. Good evening, Diana. Thanks for joining. Have I missed anybody? If you're just logging on, say hi so I know you're here. So there's that. And I'm going to flip these guys over and put some dimensionals on. The little flowers, I'm going to put the mini ones on. They fit perfectly. And then the animals, I have my larger ones. Do 2 on the pig, and we'll do 2 on the little sheep. They stick to my fingers. So peel the backing off. And then we're going to start with the sheep, and I want to put the sheep down towards the left. I'm going to put the cow towards the right. There we go. His tail's hanging off a smidgen, but once it gets on the card base, it won't be. I'm going to put the pigs right in the middle. And then bring in, and I'm actually just using these flowers as kind of like, oh, look what I did. Kind of as like little gems. So I'm just going to sprinkle the flowers around. Doesn't need to go in any specific direction. We just like to sprinkle gems. I'm just going to sprinkle some flowers. Put some dimensionals on here. And just set that to the side. There we go. Is that not the cutest thing you guys have seen all day? Maybe not in your life, but all day, I'm sure. Unless you are on my personal Facebook. When Lucas came over this morning, I put on red lipstick and kissed him all over. I did it last year for Valentine's Day, And I did it this year too. So I don't know how many more years I'll be able to do that, but I'm going to take it while I can. So there you go. So now you can definitely even stamp one of the sheep on the inside if you want to. So just ink this up and stamp a little sheep. You could do any of them, the little pig, the cow, whatever you want. But there you go. Is that not so cute? Okay, I don't know what time it is because I forgot my watch, but we can just put the other one together. It won't take that long. I won't go through all of the dimensions and everything like I did first, like in the first one. But don't forget to put your piece on the inside because I am notorious for forgetting that. Set that in. There we go. Set that aside. I just want to bring in my scratch paper so I don't mess up my work surface. So kind of just randomly stamp. I want a little bit of his face showing through on the edge. So I am going to kind of stamp off a little bit more than I did on the first one. There we go. I'll leave that and let's make sure. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Let's glue our designer series paper. There we go. Flip it over. Let's glue this. I usually pop this piece up, but because all of the animals were popped up, I just went ahead and glued this down, just so it wasn't thicker than a normal stamp. And I actually tried to do it vertical. Ooh, that is definitely not straight. Let's see if I can get that straight. I think those sheep kind of threw me. There we go. I tried to do it vertical, but the herd literally just fit across the top, so that's why I had to go vertical. So let's grab our letters very gently. Put some adhesive on. It doesn't take much. There's that. I think there's a clog again in my glue. And I definitely would recommend using the adhesive sheets. Less time consuming as well. And you don't make a mess. Oh, I'll have to wipe a little bit of that off. Perfect. Almost done. It's so convenient when the dies cut out the designer series paper. It's just so much less work when you're trying to make a super cute card. All you have to do is die cut it and it's perfect every single time. So let's bring all these guys in. Oh, there's my other flower. Grab the mini dimensionals. I think my fingers are a little sticky, that's why it's sticking to me. Grab the big ones. You could use the little ones for the animals as well, but I just happen to have the big ones beside me as well. Peel everything off. Oh, so I forgot to tell you guys, remember on Tuesday I told you it was so cold here? And I brought my umbrella out just in case I wasn't going to make it back in the house before it started storming. So I literally walked in the front door and all hell broke loose. It was the worst rain and wind and lightning and thunder that I have heard in a long time. In our monsoon season, we get really bad weather, but this was beyond anything any of us have ever seen. It sounded like our whole roof was going to come down. So anybody that was in Arizona, even like my neighbor, we're texting back and forth. We're like, you okay? I'm like, yep, we're good. Just a little scary. The dogs hated it. I'm going to punch that out, and I want to grab the scallop piece. Good evening, Teresa. Welcome. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp the It's Your Birthday. Put some adhesive on the back. Sometimes when you're gluing these two pieces together and you don't let it sit for a second, sometimes it will shift when you try to flip it over and grab it to put it on your card. So just be careful when you're doing that. So I'm going to be super gentle. Make sure that's staying down. Try not to put this upside down. There we go. Now we can glue this to our card base. So there you guys go. If you need a birthday card, you have one handy because this is so cute. I might send this out for my March birthdays. So there you go. Let me bring all of them back in for you. So we did 2 on the live, and then I prepped one before. So there you go. There is all 3 of them, and one of them I stamped the little sheep on the inside. So you could definitely decorate the inside if you want to. And I think it is the cutest thing I've seen all day. So anyway, that is your live for tonight. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me. I do have card class on Saturday. I have a few spots available, so if anybody's interested, definitely send me a message. If not, I will see everybody on Tuesday for another live. We'll chat with you soon. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.